At some point in middle school, you stop doing math problems from left to right and you start looking at this thing called order of operations where we're doing parentheses first and we do multiplication problems before we do addition and subtraction problems. And the reason is because we are introducing all of these different types of math symbols. Before this, you were only doing multiplication, or you were only doing addition, or you were only doing subtraction. So let's review what this order of operations really is. Teachers have always been trying to come up with ways to help students remember how to do the order of operations. When I was growing up, we heard, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." And then as I got into teaching, we were doing something called PEMDAS. And both of those are good, but both of them have a little bit of an error with them that could cause some troubles. And so I'm actually going to show you these four and how they relate to PEMDAS, because more than likely you've heard of that, and then show you where you might go wrong with PEMDAS if you don't watch out for one thing. So we're going to start with the first one, perform operations with grouping symbols. In PEMDAS, that would just be your P. And those are things like parentheses, or if you have problems with fractions and you have 2 plus 4 on the top and 6 on the bottom, then you want to do the grouping at the top, even though there's no symbols. That's a grouping. Later on, we're going to have radical signs, and you want to do everything inside the radical sign before you do things outside. That's how come sometimes people will put a G there for grouping instead of a P. The next one is evaluate your powers. That would be the E for PEMDAS also, and that's things like 2 to the power of 3 or 6 to the power of 2. Those little tiny numbers, we're dealing with them. Next, we're going to multiply and divide in order from left to right. That is the M and D of PEMDAS. And here's where the problem becomes. Students in the past think, oh, M came before D in PEMDAS, so I have to do all of my multiplication before I do division. And that is absolutely false. Multiplication and division are cousins. They're a family, and you're going to do them as a group in order from left to right. So if division shows up before multiplication, well, you're going to divide before you multiply. And then the last one here, number 4, add and subtract in order from left to right. That's the A and S for PEMDAS. But again, they're related. So you're going to attack all the addition and subtraction problems in order from left to right, whichever one shows up first. So if addition shows up first from left to right, you're going to do that one first. If subtraction shows up first, you're going to do that one first. All right, let's try some examples. Here's the first one, and if you look through it and you think parentheses, nope. Exponents, nope. Multiplication and division, nope. So all we have is addition and subtraction, and I really want to show you this left to right. So the very first thing, addition or subtraction left to right, is the 10 plus 6. That'll be 16. And then I'm just going to rewrite the rest of the problem. I'm not going to try to do it all at once. And I underlined the part that I'm going to do. And now we have 16 minus 4 plus 2. And here, folks, you've got to do the subtraction because it showed up before the addition, and they're a group. So I'm going to do this 16 minus 4, which is 12. And then 12 plus 2 would become 14. And that's my final answer. All right, let's look at another one. And here, once again, I don't have any parentheses or exponents, but I definitely have multiplication and addition. And so if you remember, we want to do all of our multiplication and division, if we have it, before we do anything with addition. And so I'm going to go ahead and underline this and say, what is 2 times 3? That is 6 plus 4 times 5. And then I'm going to do my other multiplication problem here. I'll say, all right, 6 plus, and 4 times 5 is 20. And then finally, I'm going to do my addition, which is 26. For the rest of these problems, I would really suggest that you pause the video and try the problem on your own first, and then see how I did it, and see how close you and I are to the same answer and the same process. All right, for those of you, hopefully you've already done it and you've come back to me now. And we're looking at this, and again, I have no parentheses, no exponents, but I do have everything else. And so I'm going to look through it, and I'm going to do multiplication and division in the order that they show up from left to right, and it doesn't matter which one comes first. I have to go left to right. So as I'm going through here, I notice that my first multiplication division problem is a division problem right here, 18 divided by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and write the 38 minus, and 18 divided by 2 is a 9, and then times 3 plus 8. All right, I still have a multiplication problem, so I'm going to go ahead and do that one next. And I have 38 minus 9 times 3 is 27, and then plus the 8. And then finally, my addition and subtraction. Again, I'm going to go left to right with that group. We're going to start right here. And 38 minus 27 is 11, plus 8, and then 11 plus 8 is 19. All righty. Okay, I'm going to give you a chance to pause this for a sec and try it on your own. Well, hopefully you're done, and here we go. All right, hey, our first set of parentheses, woo! And when I look at the parentheses, it has its own set of order of operations. I still have to do it, doing all my multiplication division before I would do any addition and subtraction. So as I'm looking at that parentheses, I see I need to do the multiplication first. So I'm going to write everything else, 36 plus 4 plus 2 times 3 is 6 minus 6. And then I'm going to finish my parentheses here. So I'll have 36 plus, and 4 plus 6 is 10. And once I have a single number, I don't have to write the parentheses anymore. All right, all I have left is addition and subtraction. So I'm going to go ahead and do my addition, 46 here. And then minus the 6 is going to give me a final answer of 40. This problem looks a lot like one we just had. And I'm going to give you a second. Pause the video, do it. Okay, if you're hearing my voice, you are back with me. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I have two multiplication problems and they are separated by an addition problem in there. I literally can do them at the same time. Now, if you did this one first and then rewrote everything and then you did the 8 times 3 next, that's fine, that is okay. I'm just showing you that because they're separated by this plus 42 in the middle, I can do this. As long as they're not messed up with any parentheses or exponents or division, I can do this. All right, I'm going to have a 14 here, then plus 42, and then I'm going to have a 24 here. All right, now I'm going to do this. 14 plus 42 is 56, and then 56 plus 24 is an 80. So I'm sure you probably didn't do the 8 times 3 when you did the 7 times 2, so you probably have one more line of work than I do. Here's the next one, and I had to mess around with it so I could get that exponent in there because, oh my goodness, I want to play with exponents. So what do? Well, remember the order of operations. What comes first? Exponents or parentheses? Parentheses. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to do my parentheses first, and I'm going to say 4. Oh, hey, what's that 4 doing to the parentheses? Well, if you don't have anything, if you don't have a symbol, then it's going to be multiplication. The 4 is multiplying times that. So we're going to put a symbol now because we're going to take 2 plus 8 is 10. We're going to take the 10 out of the parentheses, but we're still going to have it squared. Minus 50. Alrighty. Next, I have to do my exponent. Well, if you remember, squared just means that number times itself. So 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. Then minus 50. Well, next thing we have to do is we always have to multiply before we subtract. So 4 times 100 is 400 minus 50. And then 400 minus 50 is 350. And that is the final answer. You might notice that this problem is very similar to the problem we just did with two changes. First of all, instead of having the 4 beside the parentheses and knowing that it was multiplication, now I've put a plus sign there so we know it's addition. And I've moved the exponent to the inside of the parentheses. So take a moment to try this one on your own. All right, here we go. I need to put my parentheses first, but inside my parentheses, I also have to follow the order of operations. So I'm going to do the exponent first. I'll do 4 plus 2 plus 8 squared is just 8 times 8, which is 64, minus 50. Then I'm going to finish my parentheses. 2 plus 64 is 66 minus 50. And now I'm just doing addition and subtraction in order from left to right. So 4 plus 66 is 70. And then 70 minus 50 is 20. And that's the answer. All right, you're ready to go do some problems on your own. Go have some fun.